And we're back. Welcome, friends. My name is Paula Phillips, also known as Journal Artista. I'm streaming this live. There is a live chat. I'm not talking to myself. If you're watching the recording, you can actually watch when it's fully processed. You can actually watch and read the chat as well. Click on the little chat icon. In the recording, you'll be able to see what other people are saying, or to see who I'm talking to or what I'm saying. So I'm just going to start. I have them numbered. So number one. And I worked, of course, on some of these simultaneously. So that for sure is number one. This for sure is number two and three. Let me just look. That's my first Molly. And then my second Molly. So we'll start with number one. Talk a little bit about my apologies, my friends, if you've heard this story a million times. It's gonna hear it one more, at least once more today. That's for sure. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome, Sandy, Lisa, Christy, Claire. Welcome back. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and the fur mamas out there. Hope everybody's having an absolutely wonderful day. So, again, you've heard my story. I started scrap my whole life when I was young. I mean, like all of us that are into this type of things. I've always loved pens and markers and paints and stickers and books and all that fun stuff. I can remember going on a field trip downtown Toronto. I was probably 15 or 16 with school, and we went to the Harbourfront on Lake Ontario. And at Harbourfront, there were Great Impressions. There was a stamp store, Great Impressions, which is not around anymore, unfortunately. And it was in Queens Quay back then. And I remember buying a Winnie the Pooh stamp, I bought a stamp of the world and a Winnie the Pooh stamp. I can remember then going to Michael's. This is again, I was a teenager, and buying embossing powder and using the burner on the stove to heat the embossing powder. So fast forward a little bit, I moved out on my own when I was 19. I just happened to be watching the Shopping Channel. And on the Shopping Channel, Creating Keepsakes had a scrapbook kit. Now, actually, in fact, the scrapbook kit came with this. This was the scrapbook back then, right? It came with this and one or two back issues of the Creating Keepsakes magazine. It came with regular cardstock, maybe some die cuts, like we're talking 1997 or something, right? 98. And I got that Creating Keepsakes magazine. I remember opening it. I'm like, what is this? So in that Creating Keepsakes magazine, there was an ad for Club Scrap. I remember it. It was the ad. I want to say it was their what was the kit called? The first kit I got, it was something to do with like sailing or water or something. Anyways, I got that kit and it was with stamps in it. And that's what opened my world to absolutely it all. Stamps and punches and all of that. So that was late 90s, my early 20s. I started scrapbooking, close to my heart, Stampin' Up, all that type of stuff. And then in that type stamping, scrapbooking led into altered books in the early 2000s. That type of mixed media. Back then we didn't call it mixed media, right? It was altered books and all that type of stuff. I mean, I remember buying my first golden paint. The gold, because Beth Cody told me I needed some golden glazes, which I still have and still work and still good. Beth Cody told me I needed some golden glazes to use in my altered book, so I bought those. So I have a history of scrapbooking, stamping in my back from many years ago. I always, even in the early 2000s when people didn't stamp and whatever, because of the influence from Club Scrap, I always used ink and stamping in my scrapbooking back then. Then, in the early, so I would have found an art journaling magazine. I don't know how I believe the first thing I ever saw about art journaling was Sammy Harding here on YouTube. And sometime at the same time, I saw an art journal video that she did so many years ago. And at the same time, I found the second issue of Art Journaling magazine. I think when I found Art Journaling magazine, it was their second issue. I have them all. Might have been their inaugural issue. I can't remember. Anyways, that's kind of how I I started. So journal number one, once I read that, Art Journaling Magazine, and then I had True Colors. So Stampington's True Colors book, it came out in the early 2000s. I just loved that. It was more what we would call an art journal now, but I don't think they called them art journals in that book. I can't remember what they would have called them then. I mean, we have all different names, but welcome back, Joan, Gail, Janice, Laurel. So I just started playing. So we'll see some dates probably in here. So the very first art journal page I did, and you'll see my start was a lot more from scrapbooking, right? Because remember, I was a very mixed media type scrapbooking. Like I was all about it, right? So you'll see a lot of that influence. So I started in July 2009. When I actually like took a book and thought, okay, I'm going to collage and art in a book and call it an art journal. Call it an art journal. So my first, you can see my first foray with wiping paint back. Now, Sammy Harding, was her name Journal Girl here on YouTube? I haven't seen a video from her in a long time. I want to see Journal Girl. But Sammy Harding, she did this amazing, and you'll see one of my art journals I bought from her. She took a composition book and rebound the composition book with paper inside. I ordered from her and I filled it. I will show that a little bit later. Very inspiring. I every once in a while I see her post different art things. I think she struggles a lot the same way that I do. I think it's quite common maybe in this community. Anyway, I shouldn't say that out loud. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, Vern. She's very open with her, or she has been in the past. So speaking, hey, Functional Light One, welcome. So again, you'll see titles, rub-ons, and for me, music has always, especially not recently, but a lot of my titles, right? And again, I title pages because that starts from my scrapbooking days, right? Sometimes the imagery speaks about my thought process behind what I created, but lots of times I like the title. I'm a title type of person, and lots of titles were based on song lyrics. Dream On, Dream Away is Boys to Men, I think, maybe. A night of arty goodness or crafty goodness. That's why I just start with sprays. So there's some glimmer mist on here. You can see I used this piece of background. I don't know. It was just, that's an old Stampin' Up. Ooh, who remembers those pads of paper? That was an old Stampin' Up pad of paper that had, I was using. I bet you I still have that somewhere. So you can see I was just playing with like collaging and paint. Back then, still collect pen stamps. Still love me some pen stamps. You spin my head right round. And this was before, the original 80s song. Lots of sprays on that. Those who don't do anything never. So I had my hand carved stamps. This book was done before I broke my ankle, before I joined YouTube, before I broke my ankle. Hi, Art for Dabbler Tori. I'm gonna collage some crayons. Always love me some crayons. I still love coloring both inside and outside the lines. So I was playing around with paint. These are some, oh my, these were those collage kits from Design Originals when they first came out with those altered book kits, remember? Maybe you don't remember. Early 2000s. And I've got a little Eiffel Tower here that I put crackled glossy accents on. I don't know if you can see. Crackled glossy accents. That's fun. I carved this little Eiffel Tower stamp. Ooh, I loved this page. Live while you are alive. This is Club Scrap. This is Club Scrap. Let me think. Let me drink some coffee. What was that? Nautilus? No, Nautilus. What was this collection called? But I love this stamp and this whole collection. That's an unmounted stamp I have, I believe. Because of course I got all the unmounted stamps that came with all the kits. old stamps, and I was masking here. I was using stamping techniques that I'd known for years, right? Old masking. True love is not measured. So this, I can remember, this is the first time I ever tried to do any drippage, because I was watching the MTV Music Awards 2009, and Lady Gaga is when she did that paparazzi, if anybody remembers that performance of Paparazzi, where she was in the air, and then like she was wearing all white, and then she had blood, like I wasn't real blood, I'm sure, but anyways, like there was like red blood poured over her during that performance, and that's what I was trying to recreate. But I didn't know how to drip paint back then. I didn't know how to drip paint or how to figure out how to do it, so turned out all right. Over here, September 18th, 2009. Use some magazine images. So again, this was well before I might have been watching, like I said, Sammy Harding on YouTube back then, but I wasn't really into the YouTube world, because in 2009, I thought YouTube was all about kids fighting and stupid stuff. Not like, I didn't know back then. I thought YouTube was, yeah, crazy stuff. Not like people were on there sharing their art or makeup or any of those type of things. I love this set. I have this set. Oh, where did I buy that from? Was it limited edition? No, Lost Coast. I have more than one. I have the full. And they were expensive, but I have the lowercase and the uppercase. Love that set. I found it's behind me right now. I have it of all my special alphabet stamps. I use some. Well, I guess back then I had a lot of Lumiere paints, because we use Lumiere paints in stamping and altar books quite a bit. So this was Lumiere paints, and that's a hand carved stamp, but I used UT on it, so it's still raised. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, exactly, Gail. I had no idea that YouTube back then was such a wealth of inspiration. I just remember, like, I can remember TV, and like I just thought it was like kids videos about like fighting, and anyway. Then when I found out there was such a wealth of information, I was all about it. When in doubt. So I was 31 then, or turning 31. So yeah, 10 years ago. Magazine image. I remember there was a channel. What was it called? Like 1 Minute Craft or what? 30. Man, I forget now. It was a long, long time ago. And I remember she did a uh, showed you how to paint over a magazine image with gesso, and then paint on top of the gesso. Obviously that's not what the girl looked like on real, but it turned out nice. I like it. And you'll see lots of old stickers. Those are Pebbles and Company, or Pebbles Ink or whatever. I tried a little stenciling here. Oh, was this two-step stamping? I forget. Admitting that I am an artist has been hard. I now believe. It was drawn some buildings. Artists can color the sky red because they know it's blue. Those of us who aren't artists must color things the way they really are, or people might think we're stupid. Jules Pfeiffer. So again, some more hand carved stamps there. Looks kind of like a bone. And I love me some Alice in Wonderland. Still do. There's that. Those are stamps again, the uppercase. Go ask Alice. These are old Alice in Wonderland stamps from Non Sequitur. Oh, Alfred Dabblers, thank you so much. I appreciate it, my friend. Oh, thank you so much, Tori. I truly appreciate everybody's support with my join button. I know there's drama. I said my piece yesterday. We won't be talking about it again. But thank you so much for all the support, my friends. I have, and I know I said this a lot yesterday. I'm so grateful, and I have not felt this type of hope. With depression and anxiety, hopelessness is a very big thing. I have not felt so much hope and positivity I've felt in the past 3.5 years. So, um, and it's all about momentum. And like I said, I'm working with counselors. I'm following cognitive behavior therapy. I'm doing the work. I'm putting in the work. And I am so excited about where my channel and my future is going. And it's all under my control. It's all under my control. This time we are breaking cycles. I am breaking the cycle. So again, I back then, paint wise, I was definitely using a lot of the Lumiere paints. Oh, this was the first time I tried, again, well before I started streaming. I don't even know why I had bead gel back then, but I sure didn't know how to use it. The glass bead gel. This was I don't what did I write here? I don't know if I like this page. It something me. I can't even read it. I love art. I love paint and ink and collage. So you can see I used bead gel, and it was in a, I put matte on. I had no idea what I was doing here. I mean, this was back before I even started using stencils. Why would have I had bead gel? I must have had the bead gel for Altered Books. Beth Cody must have told me to buy bead gel. I enjoyed it. The texture on it now, even to this day, though, is absolutely amazing. I'm a textile person too, right? So I like feeling it and this. Cynthia says, new art journal page, breaking cycles. I gotta write it down. I like it. Cynthia, well, maybe not with that pen. As soon as it's dried out. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I truly appreciate it. I know some of you have probably seen these journal flips about 10 times, but breaking. And you can see, like, this book's so old, the coil is coming apart. Where would I have gotten this white book? I got in a kit or something. I forget. Old stickers. Oh my gosh, look at those pulled Pebbles ink stickers. Thanks, guys. Welcome, Malia. Rachel used bead gel and Lumiere paints. Maybe but see, this was before Rach, though. This was before I went on YouTube. This 2009. I didn't start YouTube until my next art journal, when I first did my first Molly and the other 8.5 by 11 one. So, like I said, it must have been, I want to say Beth Cody or something. I mean, I had her video. I have Tim Holtz and Beth Cody VHS videos. Actually, I'm missing a journal. I might be over there. Oh, we'll keep on this one. So there was a point where I was addicted to the tanning bed, my friends. I think it's when I worked at the scrapbook store in the early 2000s, there was a tanning salon a couple doors down, and my coworker just loved tanning, and I became addicted, my friends. Oh, it felt so good to be in the tanning bed. But this was from a magazine. I like the color of hitting the tanning bed. A little too hard, when they stay extra 15 minutes under the lights, come out orange. I miss tanning. It was so addictive and felt so good. Oh, it did feel good lying in those beds. Not to mention, makes you look great, but not so good for you, my friends. Not so good for you. That's a stencil from Club Scrap. It wasn't a whole alphabet. And every art journal, even my very first one before I started doing anything on YouTube, always have to have an Egyptian page. Some old Egyptian stamps from Non Sequitur, maybe, or Oxford Impressions or something. Hot mess there. Are you looking at me? Oh, I love this. I carved this. This was from a magazine that Simon gave me that I cut out. And then I thought the glasses were cool, so I carved a stamp, an eraser of that one. And so I was wiping back paint and stuff over here. Lady Gaga is starting to be an obsession. Well, I guess I definitely listened to a lot of Lady Gaga in 2009. And this, I never had luck with white, I said this yesterday, with white Sharpie paint pens, but this was definitely a whiteout pen. I I had some more luck with whiteout pens. September 25th, 2009. And then some stuff is muddy. This is, so where would I have saw, let me think back now. That again, it was like 1 minute crafts, 10-second crafts, 1 minute mixed media. I'm gonna have to find out what that channel was. But she did a pay, and you'll see it in one of my different journals because I also did it at the same time in this one. You know, it reminds you of the Dina Wakely stuff. But this girl, the first time I saw it, I was like, 1 minute craft. Man, I forget what that channel was called. 1 minute art journal. It was a funny thing, and it went, and she, I don't, if I remember right, she didn't talk. Anyways, that's the first time I cut out a magazine image to use as a mask. Coffee and art go hand in hand for me. Sometimes tea, sometimes wine. Oh gosh, I drink some Gatorade, Paula. I haven't drank wine in years. But I always go back to Starbucks. Too much fun with spray inks, a technique from one of my scrap crushes. Oh, who was my scrap crush back in 2009 then? Why wouldn't I write it? Interesting. I really liked this one, the way this turned out. This was on a magazine image too. So back then, this book was made, I think, for scrapbooking or something. I don't know. It was a book that I had. There's me. And that's, look, I guess I did manifest a size 4. Oh, dings. And this was on. So 2009, I started, the term art journaling, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I guess, in my altered books, I did similar things like this too. So I guess it's, All right. After that, I moved on to this journal. And at the same time, I found, I forget. I started, oh no, I don't forget. I found somebody that I don't want to promote because I'm very, even back then, I followed her at the beginning and I will never forget the video. Of course, it was long deleted. It was in the early 2000s. And, or sorry, the early 2010, 2009, 2010, when a lot of scrapbookers or the crafting community started into the mixed media art journaling world. At the beginning, a lot of the artists, the people that were doing art journaling on YouTube, looked down at crafters. And there's one particular girl that inspired me back then. I'll never forget that video. She posted a video about how scrapbookers were nothing but fat women who did, oh man, was I pissed off. Oh, I wish I had that recorded now. So that I don't ever, after I saw that, and I don't know if I ever said the name or whatever, but I don't ever promote her. And then, of course, a couple of years later, when she realized that, the scrapbooking world, all of us were spending money on art stuff, all of a sudden that particular person just loved scrapbook stuff. And in fact, I think she had one video where she had nothing but scrapbook, like flowers. I don't know if she was naked. If I remember, I think some people probably know who I'm talking about, but she had like scrapbook flowers all over her chest in this one particular video. And I just thought, I'm like, I remember that video from 2010 where you said scrapbookers were nothing but fat wannabe artists or something. But then when she realized that she could make money from us fat wannabe artists, she changed her tune. So anyways, that was before I even found like Arlene on YouTube and all that. So I'm not going to promote that girl. I don't know if she's still doing art or not. I haven't looked at her channel in years and years and years. But it's somebody I've never ever really spoke about or promoted after that. Oh man, that fires me up. Just thinking about it now. All right. But she used a lot of moles. These are the Moleskine, the sketchbook one. That was you, Eileen? You come. That was you. This was a long time ago, a long time ago. And I don't know, and she ended up putting out a book and everything. And I never promoted, I never bought it. Oh man, just thinking back, that I'll never ever forget that. But that was before, in 2010 when it was, people thought that about us. So anyways, why she was the reason why I bought Moleskines back then. This is the purple, the one with the purple band, the sketchbook one. So the part you'll see, some of you may recognize this. This is one of the journals that was published by Art Journaling Magazine. These were back from, so hopefully soon I'll be seeing some dates. So I was working on this journal at the same time as this one, right? Which I do a lot in my art process. I have more than one journal or book on the go, because if I get stumped, on one page or whatever, sometimes I turn a page, sometimes I'll work in another book, right? So I'm always kind of got similar books on the go. I might spray here and spray in another book. You can see that's some glimmer mist with old Tattered Angels masks behind that. So maybe this is art journal number 3. Hard to say. I tried to do that's a muddy mess. I tried to do a gel medium transfer there. Oh, I remember doing this very well. I did this in Burlington, again, before. I can remember working on this in my art room in Burlington before I started YouTube or streaming or anything. All up on my lonesome. Some of it's very muddy. So back then, at this time, this is when I was experimenting on my own, trying to figure out, when I was wiping back paint and scraping paint on. I didn't work with acrylic much, too much before that. So I was really testing out how things work like this, right? This is just acrylic glazes that I was, moving around and playing with. Just reading chat real quick. But he's talking about their puppies. It's not you, it's me. Ain't that the truth? So again, I was practicing, for me, I was self-taught, right? So if I look at this, I can see where I had used, some type of watercolor or crayon resist, and I was playing around with that. What makes a page bad? Who says? I say it's all art. There are no bad pages. Every page is expression of a certain emotion. Hot mess. Look at that bad boy. And I, so back then, my first couple art journals, especially this one. So my first art journal you just saw was mostly imagery. And then I started writing a lot in my art journal. You'll see a lot of words. So this is 03-2010. So March 2010. It's almost 10 years ago now. Oh, I remember doing that page with the stamps. So back then, I'd started writing and then painting over top. You'll see old scrapbook paper, stamps, same type of, thing, style. I can remember working on this page in the CHI in the airport, Chicago. So March 2010. When did I start posting videos? February 2010 or June 2010? But I remember painting this. Ooh, excuse my stomach. I remember painting this in O'Hare. And, I just had like a little watercolor or something, but I felt so exposed with my watercolor kit out in O'Hare Airport. Some hand carved stamps. This is the first time I used some crackle medium through a stencil there. You see this alphabet down here. Yeah, old crayon resist, but I think back then, listen to my stomach. Oh my sweet goodness, my friends. My apologies. I didn't know what I was doing. Putting it through a stencil. I don't know if that was crackle medium or who knows what that must be. It looks like it was crackle. But that was probably a flop opportunity when I was doing over that like that. I was probably heating it and then wiping it back and then wiped it right off. So again, I was still traveling for work here. April 1st, 2010. I am not a product of my past. I am my future. I got a little note in there. Was my attempt at a fire? I need to get a 1 moment. 1 moment. Simon,
Yep.
can I have a insure, please? And thanks. Little, just a collage element, stamping. Oh gosh, that's a muddy mess. You're gonna start seeing soon where I broke my ankle, because I broke my ankle in May. This is April 2010, and I broke my ankle May 2000. Excuse me, 2010. I got hiccups. Oh, I loved this page. Thank you. So you see my style, even back then, before I had influence of other art, you know, before I even really, I only had a few books back here back then. Like I said, the ones from Stampington. So I would have had mostly just the ones from Stampington or artists that work with, so like the Reese Freeman Zachary or Lynn Perella, those type of books. Then the L's. This is the story about how one thing I always loved was to see my mother's writing, practicing. She would always do the L's, practicing her L's, which is why I wanted it on a stencil design. Ooh, I had fun with this. I always like tip-ins, and that was a more of an altered book thing, right? So sorry is all that you can say. That's a song. Stamps and faux ephemera, May 2010. So this is probably a couple days before I broke my ankle. We're a hot mess. So, wiping back paint and scraping with things. This is when I was still practicing all that type of stuff. Leonard Cohen adoption, April 2010. Everyone knows this broken feeling. Everybody knows it's coming apart. It's now or never. It's my choice to sink or swim. The dice are loaded. My fingers are crossed. Leonard Cohen adoption. Leonard Cohen is an amazing poet. I mean, and obviously musician, but he's got some published works of poetry. Little tip-in and stuff here. Again, more writing. And I must have been using some real acrylic paint. It's shiny. Hand carved stamps. I remember this. I used some UT. So I started a circle phase then, but look at how rough looking my circles were. Oh, I love looking through my own stuff. Is that conceited? Is it bad to say I love looking at my own stuff? Claire needs a food cake. Oh, yeah, you need a food emoji to tell me to eat. Wait a second. Did I get a new member and not see it? Oh, this stupid chat. Hi, Linda White. And the other Linda White, you're not Linda White Holloway. You're the other Linda White, right, my girl? Oh, thank you. Andrea's always taking care of me with the thumbs up and down. Appreciate that, my girl. Wonderful to see you, Linda. I think it's not our Linda White Holloway. It's our other Linda White. Our other Lindas. Our Lindas and Cheryls and Sharons. There's a few. There's a few. Wonderful to see you, my friends. Right. Hopefully everything's all good over in the BC. You're the one that lived on Vancouver Island. Yes, now I remember. I just looked up and saw that. The one that was close to my aunt and uncle in Coquitlam. Now it's coming back to me now. Old stamps, and so I just started spraying there through stencils. Ooh, that's a muddy mess. Again, I was still learning how to blend paints and whatever, so I didn't understand any of that stuff, which colors you're supposed to put first and all that. Some old scrapbook transparency. So I did a lot more writing back then in this particular journal anyways. There's packing tape in there too. Again, this was back when March 2010. So I've always loved stencils, but I guess back when all we had was Crafters Workshop or masks from, Tattered Angels or stuff like that. Ooh, that's a hot mess. Muddy mess. I need a map that says I am here. lost. Oh, I can tell this was a paint dauber. I was using a paint dauber on that one. This is a journal I was working on when you discovered me, Tracy. That's wonderful. No idea. So, not every page is going to be a masterpiece, right? Not every page has to be finished. It's all about process, not product. So, last dance. So this probably was my last dance before I broke my ankle. We're getting close to May when I broke it. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at this. So you guys know Bic pens. One of my absolute favorite. If I'm writing on top of a lot of the writing you see in any of these, probably all of the writing you see in these journals is just a black Bic Cristal pen, the original black or blue original pen. But look at what happened with the Bic pen underneath that packing tape. See how it let me see, is my camera going to focus? Yeah. Look at how it blurred. It dissolved the ink or something under that packing tape. The packing tape's perfect, but underneath it, where I had that writing, that's weird. So that's not exactly archival. Not that it doesn't look cool, but that definitely had a reaction of that Bic pen under packing tape. That's interesting. Oh, who remembers this? Today's YouTube. The latest YouTube sensation, 6th grader, I wonder where he is now. Grayson Chance sings Lady Gaga's Paparazzi. Oh, who remembers that video? When he did that, that was an amazing, amazing viral video. Well, probably one of the first viral videos I remember. Oh boy, I try to draw a cat there again. But see, the cat this has humanistic, human characteristics. And that's because, like I said, my friends, I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you don't, I recommend doing the exercises. But even if you don't do the exercises, reading, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, if you read that book just to understand, it really, really opened my eyes. One of my, just this here now has always been one of my mantras. Ooh, hot mess. Oh gosh. Sometimes you literally make a mess. Yeah, boy. Then I started doing some swirls. No idea what I was doing. Those swirls are, yep. Ooh, hot mess. I've always loved this exercise from since I was a kid. Draw a whole bunch of squiggles and color it in. I've always, since under 10, I used to do that, a very, very long time. All right, is this where I broke my ankle? I must have. Maybe not. I feel like my ankle is beyond broken, but on the med. I feel like came out so I broke my ankle June 2010, so a couple weeks after. Obviously, after I broke my ankle, I had major surgery. I was in the hospital for 4 days. I had 2 surgeries while I was in the hospital. And yeah, so I don't think I did any art for a couple weeks, but that's how Art on the Couch started, right? So all of the work you saw before this first, was all done in my art room in Burlington. And then when I broke my ankle is when we started doing Art on the Couch, which I know is how a lot of you guys found me, is my Art on the Couch series. Because I lived in a townhouse in Burlington that had a whole bunch of stairs. You had to have 10 stairs to get into the front door. And then you had the ground level and another 10 stairs going up to my bedroom. And so when I first broke that first month, I can remember going back and I tried to go up the stairs, and I was super heavy back then, and I fell going up the stairs. So after that, because the bathroom was upstairs, I lived on the main floor, and because I wasn't able to go up and down the stairs. So I wasn't able to go upstairs to where my art room was. So which is why I started all the Art on the Couch. And those videos are still up. My art supply videos, my Art on the Couch. This is a Les Herger technique, which is Comfortable Shoes Studio. I don't know well, it was Comfortable Shoes Stud because Studio wouldn't fit, I remember, in her title on YouTube. I'm sure her channel's probably still up. But the ghosting through gesso, I learned that for May 25th, 2010 from Les Herger. And then she taught us that Sharpies would come up through gesso And then, you'll see in another couple months, I took that and then put it onto black gesso and kind of expanded the technique. I didn't know how to draw back then, but I was sure proud of that Starbucks cup. There might be a name for it. Christy Envy says, I used to do the squiggle thing with the kids at school, taking a line for a walk. Oh, that's a good, what author or artist says that takes a line? Is that a Dr. Seuss thing? And bad luck. So this is about breaking my ankle. And then, yeah, I was sick. Broke my ankle. I was in so much pain. And so then you see, when I broke my ankle and I started doing this claw, we're going to go through some pages that are super muddy and super, like every faux femora piece thrown on it, super muddy, super busy, super, because obviously mentally I was not doing well back then. But that's when I coined myself Journal Artista, because June 2010. So that's when I started streaming. And that's when I really took a long time. I was talking to Simon the other day, reminding myself why I decided to go with Journal Artista. Back then, fashionista was a popular word. And I didn't know artista was Spanish for artist back then. How ignorant is that? We learned French in school, my friends. We learned French. So, somehow I brainstormed that, fashionista was a kind of catchy phrase. A lot of people talk about that. So I was like, I called myself Journal Artista. Oh, I remember painting that. I had no idea how shading or any of that stuff worked. Help wanted. Fairy godmother needed immediately. Magic wand and wardrobe skills a must. It's from Paul Klee. Well, thanks, Christy. Paul Klee, that says a line is a dot that goes on a walk or something like that, right? That Grayson's video, the paparazzi one, has 67.2 million views. I'll never forget. That was the first viral video. I get chills. That kid singing paparazzi back then was amazing. Another one, again, another face, and not. It's drawing on the right side of the brain that helped me understand why I was drawing faces that looked so. Because I wasn't drawing what I saw. I was drawing what I thought a face should look like from when I was 5 years old. Anyways, very interesting book, my friends. I cannot recommend it enough. I've had a great time. This wasn't it. It's easy to pretend no one's really watching. It's after 2 a.m. I need to sleep. I want to hide, yet I'm exposing myself like never before to the world, actually. So this is when I first started showing the world my art and my struggles, I guess. Oh, look at that. I used a whole sheet of rub-ons on that bad boy. I love it. June 2010. Ew, yeah. So you can definitely see my style in this phase. This wasn't my blue phase or a circle phase. This was a dark phase. What does this say? I would have. This is actually very interesting to me. I would never have. I gotta read this close. One moment, my friends. I would never have imagined joining YouTube. I would never imagine joining YouTube would enrich my life so much. I'm sharing what I love and building wonderful friendships. It has been such a blessing during such a hard time. June 2010. So like I said, for 10 years, YouTube has been my life, whether I've been on art or other things, I'm a YouTuber. I love me some YouTube. Hot mess. My life feels so messy, so out of control, so random. Don't know how to harness it, where I want to go. I feel so angry and so sad. All I want to do is sleep and avoid everything and everyone. I do not want to sabotage myself. I'm scared. Like it's like a history repeating itself. For 10 years, my friends, probably for 20 years, I've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. This is the time I am breaking the cycle. Oh, I remember this. There's lots of texture on here. Oh, thanks, Claire. Yeah, drawing on the right hand side of the brain. Drawing is a skill, not a talent. It's so true, Judy. Even if you don't, I've said it. I say it again. Don't do the exercises. Just reading the book enlightened me. It made me see drawing or think of drawing differently. Oh, this particular Molly was not the sketch one with the purple. This is a regular Molly. I can tell. In this book I would have glued a lot of pages together. Miliande. Oh, I haven't thought about her in a long time. Miliande. Oh man, I should check out her channel. Millinde. I totally forgot about her. I wrote a note. Collage Mosaic Houses. Miliande 18. Oh, she was super inspiring too back then. Super inspiring. All right, journal number 2. That was Molly over here. So at the same time I was working on this one. Actually, I might have one Molly in there that's out of order, but we'll work through it. Oh, upside down. So as I said, this book came with a creating keepsake. It's actually a scrapbook. Before we had, creating keepsakes during this kit that I bought in the late 90s, like 97 or something, 98. Creating keepsakes, they were postbound. They were postbound scrapbooks back then, right? But I mean, it was even scrapbooking was so new back then. We had only we had these type of things. So my address is on here because these were shipped to Stampington. So that's a muddy mess. So again, not a lot. Some of these were probably done before I streamed. Oh, I liked this page. I can remember doing this before I broke my ankle in my art room, listening to music, working on more than one page alone, just trying things. And back then when you had stencils, all we had were those crazy books that what was street art stencils or whatever it was called. Oh, that's wonderful. Judy333 says, when she's speaking about drawing on the right side of the brain, I love that book. My mom took a class based on that book, and she turned out to be an amazing artist. She had claimed she couldn't do art and didn't know where I got it from. Too funny. It's so true. Drawing on the right side of the brain, it's such an older book. You might be able to get a digital copy or a used copy pretty cheaply. Remember this old Tim Holtz stamp? Use your umbrella. Do not worry about the unknown. So I have some like old stamps. This is a hand carved stamp. Some of that faux ephemera. So this was February 2010. Again, when I first started. The titles, a lot of my art journal, or the themes or the prompts, was definitely songs. So Blondie's Call Me. Look how I scraped the paint there. That was when I was still learning, how to not properly, that's not the right word. How I liked to scrape paint and wipe it back and all that type of stuff. I guess I started with black paint. This is old stuff, old paper from kits. But I love using all my old scrapbook stuff. February 10th. So you can see I was using sprays on here. Remember, even back then I outlined a lot. Remember, and I taught you guys a lot. That was a staple of my style, was adding gesso on edges of things and then building up the collage from there. Look, I was doing some watercolor on here, but I must have put some. I know I put it on top of gesso. Let me see. February 2010. Working art into the everyday, and this is written in big pen, has been a joy and a challenge. Even if I don't feel like creating, I force myself to do at least a little bit of couch art. So, well, maybe I did couch art even February 2000 before I broke my ankle. I guess I did because I called it there, couch art. Moving all my supplies up into my art room has been challenging. I don't spend enough time with Simon as it is. I guess because I had that corporate job. So I feel guilty leaving him downstairs while I create. Here we are, 10 years later, he's like, get your ass in your art room. There's no Ooh, remember those foam stamps from, oh man, a scrapbook company. This is old packing tape. Oh, I'm really enjoying this. I was doing some collage over here. So I was using, there's water-soluble crayons in the background there. I love looking at this stuff. Remembering my journey. Ooh, look at that muddy mess. Ew. Started with some of these masks from Tattered Angels. I've always wanted to visit Paris. I have been obsessed with the city for years and have many something around my house. Tributes to Paris around my house. One day I will visit, one day soon, February 10th. One day I will visit with my wonderful friend I am JK Julie. Oh, I remember doing it. So I can remember this page. This is the first time I bought golden paint. I can remember buying this as a ultramarine blue or phthalo blue or something, and it was golden heavy body paint. And I was like, look at how vibrant that is. And I stamped over it. So, I've been doing stenciling and sprays before it was, before we had stencils and sprays. And I made a little tip in. Silence your inner critic. Become an art warrior instead. Interesting. Ooh, muddy mess over here. Can you? Muddy mess. And I think some of it, when I say it's a muddy mess, because some of those sprays, like the Adirondack spray, some of those the sprays that can be re-wet and reconstituted, removed. You know what I mean, Vern. It maybe the humidity in my art room and stuff has made it even more muddy than when I created it. March 11th of March 2010. I definitely used that swirl stamp quite a bit. I carved it as a crazy, eh? See, these are the type of stencils we had from Crafters Workshop back then. That's pretty much it. I never did finish that hot mess. Ew. This is muddy. There's so much going on. I'm feeling overwhelmed. So much it's paralyzing. I keep pretending everything's okay. Jesus, like sweet goodness, I've relived the same. It's like Groundhog Day for the last obviously decade or more. The cycle. I have to break the cycle. I have to. This is the same. I could write the exact same words right now. Oh, I remember doing this collage. Look at these old doodlebug stickers. I have to remember to just play. I think such a big book, 8x8, is intimidating. I actually long for my little moleskine back. I hate the binding. It just seemed more intimate. Oh, so I hate the binding in the here. The Molly seemed more intimate. So again, you can really see where I was scraping paint and I was working out like wiping back with baby wipes, how much, like when to do it. Oh, I really like that texture though. If you wait too long, you won't be able to wipe it off. Judy Got the Right Side of the Brain in 1979. Yeah, it's a good book. It's old. But let me tell you, the science behind, not science isn't the right word, but how she explained like how you're taught imagery as a kid and how anyone, if I asked you to draw a house right now, right? We drew tree. Anyways, read the book. It's good. Oh, I remember this. I liked this one. So this is when I sent my art journals to Stampington. And that was what this page was about. Let go, sending my art journals there. So you look at this stencil in the back. Can you even see her face anymore? It was from, again, one of those street art stencil books. I don't know where that would be right now. Ooh, somebody mess, somebody mess. Ooh. You know, again, so I was practicing back then. So this was probably like denim Adirondack spray or something through that stencil. Oh, I liked this. This boat is leaking. That's from an Annie Lennox song. April 10th. Look at that little fish. So I must have used the fish as the inspiration for the colors in the background. But, you know, ripped scrapbook paper. I'm enjoying this reminiscent journey of my art journal career. There is still time. The clock is ticking. I'm 31. And now I'm 41. But there's still time. I just need to wait. Was I talking about babies back then? Blue is definitely how I feel so often, but I don't believe. Yeah. We're going into the blue phase, my friends. My blue phase is a Titanic. Sink or swim. Scrapbook paper on there. Ew. Now that is a hot mess. It's like I said, when we were using spray inks back then, you know, man, oh man. Muddy, muddy, muddy. It's no secret I will not be caged. All this faux ephemera from K & Company, which I still have. Ew, I did not like the way that turned out. I guess I tried to do some hand lettering there. Hot mess. Hot mess. Swirls. This was out of a Vogue magazine. Windsor. I don't know. I wonder who that. Now, if I use these type of imagery now from magazine, if it's an art like somebody, I try to cut. If I use that, I try to cut the edge where it shows who the artist was. I love that style. Look at that. May 1st, 2010. So again, just before I broke my ankle. So that was interesting. So again, it wasn't even an art journal. It was just a book that was real. And then we went to anybody bored? Anybody need a break? Then we went to hold on. I thought I had them in order. I guess I do not. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Jeez, who remembers this? Ooh. Which moly is this one? Oh yeah, journal number 3. So this is the one I need. And these comp books. I need to find. So there was an order now. There was that one that I bought from Sammy Harding. Oh, I guess that's number 2. So I guess we better go look at that bad boy. We went out of order. Because I worked on so many journals at the same time. But for some reason, I know I labeled this one number 2. So, and I don't know where that journal is that I bought from Sammy Harding. It would have been, it's a composition book size because she changed it to a comp book. Sorry guys, talking to myself. One moment. That's not it. Where would I have it? It would have been just right here. 1 second. I just want to look one more spot. That is not it. That's paper. Did it fall behind somewhere? More than likely. And that page, that book that I got from Sammy Harding, I used that for streaming when we first started streaming a lot. So it's an important book. Let us try not to cause a craft-a-lanch. If it does, my apologies. Ooh, there's my altered Club Scrap altered book that Debbie was in. No, I'm missing a book. I'm missing an art journal for some weird reason. That's not it. Those are no. I don't know. Oh well. Maybe one day we'll find her again. I'm missing a journal in my. Oh, sweet goodness, what was that? All right. Whew. Have a good day, Julie. Thank you so much, Malia. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Janice. Yeah, well, the best thing about my channel, if I do say so myself, not only do you learn what to do, you learn a lot about what not to do. You learn how to use things, you also learn how not to use things. Dang, that really upsets me that I can't showcase that, not just the pages that were in that particular art journal, but I wanted to showcase, you know, the way that Sammy Harding, who I'm 99% sure, 99, more than 99, she named herself Journal Girl, right? Is she still Journal Girl here on YouTube? It really bothers me that I can't find it, though. That will bug me for days until I find it. I'll be thinking about it, looking for it. Anyways, let's go on with this, and then maybe one day I'll be searching my brain, racking my brain, trying to figure out where it is. So number 2. And so as you see, my art journal number 2, I started with comp books. So who would have told me to use a comp book as an art journal? Well, Sammy Harding, I guess, because I had bought one from her. I don't know. Warning, real journaling inside, not for the faint of heart. I guess I wanted to warn the people at Stampington. I am water. So these, I did some pages. I can remember, it was from CHA in 2002 or 3. Scrapworks? No, is it Scrapworks? Heidi Grace Designs. Heidi Grace Designs had a line. Is it crazy, my friends? I remember exactly. I can look at this and know that it was it's something from 2002. But Heidi Grace Design, she came out with a line of with water, all the earth elements. And this particular cutout was from I can remember the sheet that went with, it was like an advertisement for their product line. Anyways, I am water for some reason. I was although I'm a fire sign if you want to talk astrology, but I haven't been swimming in years, too ashamed of my body. The fish wouldn't care, so why should I? Oh boy. There's some stamping. And then this was the wood, right? I must learn to focus on the forest, not the trees. And I was pretty proud of this. This is the first time I tried to paint something like that. I can remember. I really was bend with the wind, learn to have hope. I was proud of myself at that time. October 10th, 2009, I did these pages. So yeah, we skipped a year. This is going back before my YouTube channel, before I shared any of my art on camera. Yeah, so this was about fertility, well before, a long time ago, when I actually, anyway. Those are from magazines, and I painted and wrote over it. So this is Sean Kingston, Fire Burning. So again, I was watching whichever artist it would be now. I want to say it was like I said, 5-second. I'm gonna have to look at it, but that was they taught us how to use magazine like silhouettes as masks and stuff. I really liked this page too. Was playing with paint and layering. Sammy Harding is on YouTube as Sammy Harding, but hasn't done a video in about 7 months, which is, you know, sooner than me, or I was. So. Hi, Claire. Thanks for being here. I carved this stamp. Be Real. October 17th, 2009. This was it was an article on pole dancing from I think it was a Korean magazine maybe, or some type of Asian magazine. Simon got for me. Starbucks, my hand carved stamp, October 17th, 2009. My first molly, I must not hoard. So that was when I was calling myself a hoarder, not a treasurer. Shut up and listen for once. Ooh, I tried watercoloring for the first time. That didn't go so well. Or what? I think I was using watercolor crayons. I don't remember. Simon brought me this. This is a Pepsi logo from a bottle that he found that he had at work. Halloween stamp. I remember this Harajuku that I must have just bought this Harajuku perfume. And I remember I bought this stuff from the Dollarama. Heidi Grace was awesome. I still have a lot of Heidi Grace stuff. That was from the Dollarama. It was fake gauze or whatever during the Halloween time, and I glued it in. Ooh, I remember this. The duct tape. I have a purse fetish. So I cut duct tape. This is all duct tape. Cut it and put it on there. Put old stickers on top. This was from a magazine. It was Fractals, but back then I didn't know what fractals were. So I used a full page of rub-ons back then. Oh, some of these old stickers. Ooh, so then this is when I first started playing with alcohol inks. Look away, Eileen. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Welcome, Lion. So this tape, so Tim Holtz did a class when we went to Club Scrap in 2003, I guess. He showed us how to, I have it right here, I believe, somewhere. 2004, this particular class. 2004. I went to 3 different retreats, 3 years in a row. And he taught us how to do this. So this, he taught us how to do this embossing, right? This was actually from a Quick Cut. A Quick Cuts? Yeah, so many years ago. But he get, you know, the roll, you can buy that roll of metal tape, and then he taught us how to do this with the alcohol inks. I was a project, again, from Club Scrap Retreat 2004. So I was recreating that without the embossing on there. But you can see the alcohol ink came off that tape, but wasn't sealed. Oh, magazines. I've been spending way too much money on art supplies, but it's okay. I'm using them, right? Drink some coffee pop. Oh, sweet. I still have a Quick Cuts. I still have the Quick Cuts over there. It was expensive, my friends. You know how much I paid for that Quick Cuts back in the early 2000s? And those alphabet dies? Hundreds of dollars. The alphabet dies that went to the Quick Cuts, like $200 per set or something. Oh man, that was funny. You live too far. I guess I was talking about, after moving from Toronto over to the west of Toronto in Burlington, I was pretty far away from friends and family. I remember that. Discover your article. Do I need a map? Oh boy. Have no fear, play, doodle, draw, paint. Do not be afraid to leave a mark, your mark. It may not all be beautiful, it may be downright ugly, but it will be freeing. It will be art, it will be practice for bigger and better things. Stop striving to be good, stop thinking so hard, just play, play, play. Now, please. Because I was pen stamps. Is there something under here? Ooh, yes, there is. Ooh, look at that. I love seeing those stamps I have. Play, so hard to do for me. I feel compelled to stick to my scrapbooking roots and make everything match and linear. I think this is why I've been drawn to art journaling. I can use my stuff. I can paint, stamp, paste at random. I can just let it out and see what happens naturally. So my thought process in 2009. These are some of the pages that were published in Art Journaling magazine. I tipped in magazine image there. Some of those old stencils from that book. Again, I was watching True Blood. Little tip in. Oh, I hate that word crazy, but I guess I was using it there. Crazy is as crazy does. Well, who or what defines crazy? I'm crazy just for attempting most things. I'm crazy for wanting, crazy for hoping. What? Crazy, so be it. I don't know what I was trying to say there. My old things. My stomach is growling up a storm. Ooh, and that I learned the hard way on this page. This I was using alcohol inks. I put down gesso, and even now you can see how shiny it is. I don't know what I was thinking. I put down gesso, I put on all these layers of alcohol ink, and then I sprayed it with do we have a troll? Laurel just had an epiphany over at your art closet. What was it, Laurel? I do remember working through the uglies. Quick cut. I can't believe all the money I spent on quick cuts, Marion. Oh man, I've probably hundreds of thousands of dollars have I spent on art. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I love it. So for some reason, I knew that old aerosol cheap hairspray is a good way to seal pages. But for some strange reason, I sprayed it with the hairspray and then I closed my book, and it completely stuck together. So when I opened it, it looked like an eagle. So this black was all stuck together. It was just ripped paper. You can even see some ripped paper there. So I guess, and even here, that's why it looks dull here compared to everywhere else. Because then I decided I was going to add more alcohol ink on top and try to save the page. But I keep it in here. It's good. It's a good story to remind myself how not to use alcohol inks in your art journal. My choice to be happiness. So December 14th, 09. Like I said, the last 10, 11 years, I could be writing the exact same freaking things today, my friends. Ooh, I was proud of this page. I loved how it's when I really started looking. There's golden glazes. So you guys remember when I art journaled, when I started, I had no idea what the difference between student grade, artist grade paints or anything. I would use the most expensive golden heavy body paint with the absolute cheapest craft paint and mix it all together and not know any difference. So, but I do remember, look at this. Is Tracy in here today? Look at this old Seven Gypsies tissue paper. Woo! I still have some of that treasured. Lush Times. I still love Lush. December 9th. Christmas time at Lush. I didn't get any this year. More Crackle. This was the Tim Holtz Crackle paint when he first came out with it. It worked on this one. I think I'm going to take the door off the closet and use it where it needs to be in the house. Replace with the curtain and try to get all my bedroom crap and stuff into the closet. Yeah, some shelves. Who is this lion person? Is it am I missing something? Who lion is? I'm supposed to holler at them. I don't know if they still love me or somebody else in chat. I don't know. I don't know if it's a troll. I don't know if it's somebody we know. It could be somebody in real life. You never know who's watching, my friends. You never know who's watching. But I always love like tip. Well, this isn't a tip in. I obviously cut that page. I love things that. Ooh, that's a muddy mess. Ew, even more muddy mess. Oh, those are some Heidi Swap masks. Oh, you were talking to someone. Oh, that's cool then. Okay, good. Sorry. Sorry. I don't mean to call you a troll. I just wasn't paying. Didn't see. Welcome back, Virginia. Good to see you, my friend. Happy Mother's Day. Ooh, remember that when Starbucks Via first came out? Starbucks Via is good. My second art journal completed. Who knew I would take... This is interesting. My second art journal completed. Who knew I would take to this form of art so wholly? Holy. I'm enjoying my supplies, my process, and most of all, myself. I see how I've grown through every page. I'm eager to keep going and see where this journey will take me. On to the next. December 3rd, 2009. So, first composition book, 2009, before I started YouTubes or any of this fun stuff over here. And then we went into, did I use a Canson Mix? What book? No. No. All right. I must be missing a bag that has the art journals, the couple of art journals. The ones, I wouldn't know, I don't know where it is right now. So the first, my Ustream art journal, the first journal I started, because that would have been the next progression, right? That journal where I started streaming from, the one that has the Ustream friends and all of that. One moment, I got this one. I hope I'm not boring the pants off of anybody. Thank you for being here. Not seeing. I don't know. So I'm missing the journal. So those first two journals that I used streaming, that I used when I was streaming. Speak English, Paula. Words are hard. The first two. So I'm missing two. We'll have to. Dang it! There goes my journals 1 to 10 title. This is number 3. So we have a molly here that I can go through, number 3, but I'm missing 2 books. I don't know. I might have to come back another time with other ones. I don't know if it matters to see my progression. Some people really like to see like the actual flow. But this one, journal number 3, this is after I started streaming. You'll see some stuff in here, like when Laurel and I went on that trip when we streamed from the hotel and stuff. I believe it's in this one. So did I write I just said journal number 3. All right, December 13th, 2009. Oh, maybe it won't be that journal then. All right. Again, the same type of face, this type of thing. If you read Drawing on the Rights of the Brain, you'll understand why I drew faces like this. Inspired by Mistel. So, and that's another person I watched back in the early, not early 2000s, so 2009. Mistel. So she was one of the first YouTubers I found, very inspired by her. So this was, like I said, 2009, before I even started streaming or YouTube. I found her. So I like how the layer of her process, but again, the drawing of it didn't go so well, and nor the coloring, because I had zero ideas. Why. I hope I'm not insulting anybody with this. First painted face ever, December 13th, 2009. And now looking back, I know why these eyes look like that, the lips look like that. Again, drawing on the right of the brain. If you draw faces that look like this, read it. But Mistel, I think she's still posting and stuff. Yeah, I still follow her. I haven't watched anything in a while, but absolutely wonderful woman. Wonderful. I know Dee Dee has Dee Dee, who is Inkwell, or Dee Dee Willingham here on YouTube now. Um, I know she's done like commissions for like painted Mistel's uh sons and stuffs over the years, I believe. But she was super inspiring. An ode to my beginnings. My Stampin' Roots, my friends. Since 2000, I've been collecting, hoarding, buying. Well, I don't collect or hoard anymore. I treasure. Miss Del still posts. She's cool. She is. She's absolutely just. She has the sweetest voice, the sweetest air. Continence, is that countenance? Continence? No, that's probably. Drinks up coffee, Paula. She is the sweetest demeanor. Like she has the most wonderful demeanor on the continent. Drinks up coffee. Oh, so these are some of my older stamps. That's why I call it stamp. Look, Passage of Time. Passage of Time was the very first club scrap kit I got. I think. No, maybe second. Anyways, a long time ago. So I was doing, how we kind of back then blended, and that was back when it was blending ink, when Tim Holtz, when I just had before they had the blending tools, when Tim Holtz blending tools were the square or the rectangle ones that we use for alcohol ink. I currently feel that there's no harmony in my life. I sometimes feel like I don't even know the definition of the word. Good boy, December 5th, 2019. So this art journal was published in Art Journaling magazine. I can remember because some of those, if you have that, the first time I was published in Art Journaling magazine, if you read some of those pages, like I put it all out there. So if you like, there's some deep stuff on my pages in those the world has seen. But obviously, this is well before I was diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder. So I go into my most depressive state in the winter. In the winter. I wonder if this is one of the pages that was published, because I remember reading it like, I was talking about not wanting to see family and stuff. This one, yeah. Why do I want to be so alone? And then some of the words. And a little door. I've always loved windows and doors. If we don't socialize, it's harder to be in good social shape. We need to practice. But yeah, these words so this was January 16th, 2010 that I wrote this. Oh, I liked that page. So I definitely did a lot of writing. And you see, as my art progressed, in these books, I was writing on top, right? So that you could read it. And now, I haven't done a lot of art journaling recently, but you'll see as my progression goes, then I started writing underneath, right? I would do the stream of consciousness writing or that type of stuff underneath my paint and art. And sometimes it would peek through, sometimes not. But again, all I'm talking about is depression. This is December 26th, 09. Dang. Gotta break the cycle, my friends. Oh no. Ooh, I gotta fix that. Yeah, it's supposed to be just a black hole, but now it's stuck together. Ooh, that's a muddy hot mess. But it was obviously reflecting on my mental state. And then I was wiping back through crayon, through resist. Ooh, I liked this page a lot. Oh, I remember doing that. So I was still in a box plant back then. And I had this it's actually a girl. It was a magazine image I found, and she had a box on her head, a corrugated box, and I painted over it. And these lines was used like back then when I ran that box machine. I ran that folding carton machine, and this was before. Uh, anyways, and I would have pieces of belt. I still have it around, the belt that was on the machines, and I would use it as texture. Because when they were placing the belts on the machines, they'd have to cut it off, and you'd get like a little scrap or whatever. And the belting on the machine, and it was fun. Oh no, it was fun to use it as texture. Who says I'm selfish? I say I'm introverted. Oh, sometimes I feel guilty. I seem to ask others, mostly Simon, to do a lot of things that I should really be doing myself. Yes, true that. There is packing tape transfer. Oh, an old glamour shot. That's hard to see on top of this muddy mess, but I think this was a foam stamp, maybe. Old stickers. And I've said this quote forever. Change, and it's not my quote. Change only happens when the pain of same is greater than the pain of change. Dang it! I wish that, and then that is like Maxwell, like John C. I think it's John C. Maxwell quote. If I could be wrong. That's from a book I read. That's not my personal thing. Ooh, I remember this page. I loved it. These were eyeliner or lip liner or some eyeliner, I think. Yes, I know these are eyeliners. This picture reminds me of the color pencils at my grandmother's house. Oh, yeah. I used as a kid. There was one in there that was so creamy and smooth. I loved using it, not knowing it was one of my mother's eyeliners from when she was a teenager. That was a good memory. This is a Rihanna song. Love is the answer to every question. Yet another song title lyric. Can't we all just get along, my friends? Sorry, I wasn't reading chat. Well, now my life now that I'm like still obsessed with the Z makeup and makeup palette. I haven't bought makeup in a while, but I'm still using it. Well, I shouldn't say that either because I haven't been to work, so I've been wearing makeup. I gotta put makeup on tomorrow because I've got to do a video tomorrow, a face-to-face video tomorrow. Um, but yeah, I've thought lots about using my makeup in my and I think I have. You'll see in here somewhere. Float up. I like that. No air. That's a song too. This is those old collage kits from Design Originals, the altered book collage kits from Design Originals, which I can show you. I have them like right beside me here. One hot mess. Yes, I've been calling my artwork hot mess before YouTube, my friends, before I stream. Since 2009. Little is big. What was I writing there? I don't know. I wonder if my friend Paula is watching. Do you remember? She might watch this later. She's another one that one of my in real life, yesterday I talked about Laurel and Ann, my online friends that I have neglected, but I absolutely have a neglected real life friends too. Paula's one of them. I know she understands what I go through, but I can remember going to an altered book night. Was it Great Impressions? The SOS maybe. Southern Ontario Stampers. We were in Queens Quay or somewhere down by the lake. We were with Elizabeth. Anyways, and she went in and we were in Starbucks, and that's when Starbucks, because we had some type of meeting. It might have been an altered book meeting or something. And I can remember Starbucks back then, they sold all of the coffee beans, like not in bags, like it was in bulk, and they weighed it and then they put stickers on it. And I remember Paula, because I was like, no way was I going to ask for a sticker. Paula was all up there. Oh, can I please working her magic? I still have some of those stickers. I still have some of those stickers. So I'll think back. That was good. That was well before, in the early 2000s when we had that meeting and she got that sticker. Starbucks coffee breakfast blend. TGIF, thank God I'm female. 1996. Oh my. I like this page. I like the background on that page. Yeah, you want to use your good stuff. Yeah, I don't want to be using my $30 eyeliner, but I've always been the one to blame. I love the Pet Shop Boys. That's a Pet Shop Boys from Pet Shop Boys song. This was definitely this page was definitely featured in Art Journaling magazine. That was back when, so this was, I took this picture, I was 27. So that would have been when I met Simon. This is that year that I met Simon. And, cameras, I don't know if we even digital cameras, or maybe if I did. Anyways, to do a selfie, you literally had to use a regular camera and stand in a mirror. So that was the first selfie. I've always loved the circles. Yeah. You see I almost called it a DSLR. It's not a DSLR. It wasn't digital. It was my SLR cam, my Canon there. But that was a selfie. And then you had no idea how it turned out. It turned out pretty blurry back then. So 2005, I was pretty manic in 2005. Very manic in 2005. And not the type of manic I am right now. Is this, nope, that's it. Some old. Crap. Bad day post. Oh, that from Rubber Baby Buggy. Oh, what the heck was that? Rubber Baby Buggy bumpers. It's a Sin. That's another Pet Shop Boys reference. So this was just before I broke my ankle, before I was watching some YouTubes, but I definitely wasn't participating in YouTube. I say yes when others say no. That's a song too. Oh, I remember this. This was an ad from a magazine. I forget what was in it, but then I put the wine bottle in her hand. Ooh, I liked this page too. I carved that stamp. Maybe I need to go back to that. I sure, and I guess when I was doing these art journal pages, I was listening to this particular music, right? So I must have been listening to Please Don't Stop the Music. Who's that? Rihanna sings that? I must have been listening to it, and then I kind of transfer it into I Desire to Desire, February 2010. Are you freaking kidding me? What am I angry about in this here? But really, who am I to judge? I don't even know what I was talking about. I will not conform. Don't know what I was conforming to, but I guess I wasn't going to do it. That was never finished. $1,000. This is play money. Dang it. And then that was it. So this was a sketch. The sketch paper in the Moly. I probably still have an empty one. More than one empty one. Maybe a sketch and a one over there. How many? What? 130? Or an hour and a half, I should say, not 130. Let me see what number. Sharon gave me this. This says 2011. Yeah, so I'm missing 2 journals. The ones I streamed with, which is interesting. This one me say 2000, April 11. And what did I say this? 2011, December 2010. So this would have been the next one. This was a wallpaper sample. And I remember Sharon gave me this. Bus driver Sharon. Safety bus Sharon. Journal Artista, 2011, 2010. A labor of love, the need to create something, anything, could mean nothing, could mean everything. I was using some colored pencils, drawing some little circles for some weird reason. Oh, so yeah, this is, I was walking with a cane. My article is out. People are buying and receiving it. I am nervous to have them read my thoughts. And here I am sharing them on YouTube. Some of them are so dark and deep. What's strange is that a year later, I still feel those exact same things, emotions and fears. I still want to be alone. Asha, right here. It is 2020. 9 years later. It's not, the cycle will not be broken. The cycle is broken. Rewrite our history, not rewrite history. We're going to add to it. So when I look back at this book in another 10 years, I'll some of my safety stuff, health, instability, level 4. Personal protection, 100% needed. Oh my word, May 2010. So just before I broke my ankle, I guess. Again, same reason why I draw those faces that way. We're using my embossing folders. Using embossing folders as texture stamps. This is the one that everybody remembers that we did in Pittsburgh on a road trip with the wonderful Laurel. When I used the hotel ephemera, we just raided the brochure rack in the hotel. I did this live. I love road trips. It may be because I don't have a license. Poor Laurel had to drive everywhere. I'm a pretty good navigator. I'm a good navigator. Laurel be on my ass. Still don't have it, Laurel. My sister got her license a couple months ago and now drives. 6 months ago now drives. I'm so proud of her for finding. Hey, graphics got Kathy. I love road trips. It may be because I don't have a license. But anyway, it was a great time driving with Laurel from Virginia because I was in Virginia for work. And she met me in Virginia. We drove to Philly and I flew home from Philadelphia. Hit the road, motel souvenirs. And this one was. No stress. Yeah. Definitely some craft paint. Art is not what you see, it's what you help others see. Edgar Degas. So strange for me to actually, actually draw and color something by hand, which would have been this, which I didn't use a wrapper. I had no idea what I was doing. Look at me trying to use my colored pencils there, blending. And I probably did it. I know I tried to blend it on top of gesso, but I had no idea what I was doing back then. That's for sure. With colored pencils, anyways. Ew, what kind of hot mess was that? This. And that's when after I broke my ankle. I did this one live. I remember I was pretty proud of this page. I remember drawing these buckles and coloring them with pencils and thought I did a half decent job shading. That was February 14th, 2011. It was before Dee Dee showed us how to, or before I even really bought colored pencils or really researched or practiced a lot. That's when I broke. And I guess Artie Dar used to always call me Steampunk Paula. Steampunk Paula, because I have screws in my, not, well, I did have a screw. It was loose. They removed it. But I still have 6 pins and a plate. Titanium. Anything worthwhile is not so easy. I had so much fun creating this background. I love how the portfolios came through the layers of paint. So I was using portfolios and gesso. I used some alcohol ink on here. Museum a la Hilton. More more hotel ephemera. What does it say here? We didn't make it to the art museum in Philly. Oh yeah, we didn't go to the art museum in Philly. But found some free art in the magazine at the front desk. So that was from the hotel ephemera. Ooh, I remember that Seven Gypsies paper, that line. I still have some of it. This line, the life is good. I forget what it was called now. Old Tattered Angels mask. Ew. Alcohol ink. Oh, sweet loving goodness. Turn that page. So you can see lots of dark, lots of inking of the edges. Feeling busy, feeling content, feeling overwhelmed, busy. Circles, more some of that muddy mess from the sprays. So I've always loved that dendrick. Can't try. Dendrick. That or whatever that text means. I drew some birds. I've been watching Phoebe, a hummingbird who laid eggs. And so what? They are, oh, so I must have been watching on, remember when Ustream, we first started watching Ustream, we were all watching those channels, like, it's still, we were watching those, like, Eagles more, I think that must have been what I was talking about. I guess that's who Phoebe was? Phoebe was a hummingbird? Ooh, these are the 5-minute faces. Dee Dee's, the original stream she did back in, I guess, 2011. For her 5-minute faces. 11 or 12, anyways, a long time ago. That was my attempt. I love that stream. That's from those 5-minute faces. Dee Dee, who is Dee Dee Willingham here on YouTube. And she has that rubber band book, remember? And she had paper, and all the paper in the book was cardstock that she used, watered down, craft paint, that she likes to use craft paint. And then when there's only a little bit left, she'll add water to it. So we had craft paint washes, and the whole book was just craft paint washes. And that's all she does with those type of 5-minute faces she taught us in that book. Love that. Oh, here's another one. Lots of inspiration. Here we go. Lots of inspiration from Dee Dee. Drawing these are scary, but fun too. Seems like I have something for big lips. I kill myself. It's all about practice. I know I need to do more. Not every page has to be stunning. Just play. Did I date it? I guess this book was from 2011. Fun with watered down craft paint and Prismacolor pencils on top. So I guess I did use some Prismacolors on there before I really got into Prismacolors later. But you can see, again, why my faces look like this. Read Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. You'll understand. Yeah, 9 years ago. I mean, where does the time go, Laurel? A decade, for crying out loud. A decade. It's a wrap. I don't know what a wrap was, what it was, but that's a muddy mess. Oh, I remember this. I know this one for sure. This is when we did Joyce's. Reminds me of Joyce's. I did that video, that Stencil Saturday one night when I was still in Burlington, and we did 3 30-minute art journal pages. Joyce Sidger had a timer. Able to, she had a timer. She was the timer, and I had to finish a page in 30 minutes. And I think I did 3. I can't remember which other ones. More of those Dee Dee's 5-minute faces. I continue to get sick on a monthly basis. Was I like getting like flu sick, head sick? Little, so much stress. Another one. The way I drew that. Oh, more Dee Dee 5-minute faces. And it wasn't the way she wanted us to do them either, because I definitely lifted my pen. But maybe when she first taught us these 5-minute faces back in 2011, the first time, maybe she didn't talk about not lifting her pencil, because for some reason I didn't do it. But now, like when she looks in that book, she, always talks about lifting your pencil. These are pretty vibrant. I mean, I must have used, not must, I know I used portfolios. That's nothing. I am so excited to try new paints, to share my findings with others. It's a building blocks to friendship. That's all glossy accents on top of that. No one chooses my thoughts but me. Hot mess. Hot mess. Hot, 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 hot mess. Oh, never finished. Got some notes. Yeah, so that was only number 3. Dang it, I feel bad that I'm missing 2 of those books. I don't even know where they would be. Don't even know where they would be. But I do know we did this book in Burlington when downstairs. So this was my original weight loss, 2010. So before I broke my leg, before I broke my ankle, yeah, I was trying to lose weight. And then, no, June 2010, maybe I did. Maybe this was the time. I wrote dates. I wrote weights on here. No, it was the time I was losing weight, because I can see. I went from 240 to 166 in here. 32. But I did this live, like to create this cover, and I did that window through thick and thin. So is my weight loss journal. You are what you eat. So true. Or what you don't eat. Oh, vegetarian. So there was times I went a couple weeks vegan. Bingo. I never finished this book. I never did. Starting again, April 2012. All the things I used to... Oh, Mishi's Ladder. The foods on Mishi's Ladder. Which is, I definitely agree with that. Ooh, we did this for 21 Secrets. Oh, I remember this technique. Oh, I like that. Even all these years later, how good, in my humble opinion, that looks. Come on. Focus, my friends. The texture of that. There's some windows and doors. Oh, look. Isn't that irony? Some old stickers. Never finished. And I have another weight loss journal after this. Maybe more than one. Net calories consumed. So this was probably printed out right from my FitnessPal. What I ate. Notes on Vega 1, still like me some, and still drink a Vega 1. Still good for you. Oh, this page didn't stand the test of time. You see, whatever I had on here, it's all blended. You can't even read that anymore. What I should, it's too bad I can't go back and look at recorded Ustream videos anymore to see what I used here that would have faded away like that. Thanks, Gene. It's time to get off this wild ride. May 10th, 2012. So I guess this journal, yeah, I can remember now. So I started it and I came back. I love these stencils from Artist Seller, the water ones. I love how this looks. It's so, I don't know if you can see it on camera, like other up close, but the layers of paint and layers of paint and glaze on this is yum-o, if I do say so myself. I was writing down Tuesday, May 22nd, I did some Zumba. Why did I want to lose weight back in this time? Choose live food. I like that little pear. That was nice. Hard to see now. It's almost like I need to, I don't know if it faded or if it was just that light to begin with. I like that. I forgot about that page. Why do I want to get fit and lean? Jillian Michaels DVDs, still have those. And look, my goal was size 4. Well, I made it, I guess. Keys to success. I was down 16 pounds. More about what I was back then. I was documenting how I worked out, but oh no, I would have been right. I would have been documenting what I ate on MyFitnessPal. Sharon, I remember Sharon gave me these as well. Postcards. I remember doing this background on one of the first times. Non-scale victories. There weren't that many. I must have been doing a lot of Beachbody stuff back then. I don't know. I know I was. This. So my goal was 135, slim and fit. Interesting. Ooh, I got a piece of paper in here. Or a piece of wax paper. More notes, more whatever. And that was it for that, our weight loss one that we never finished. Anybody bored? I'm only going to flip through one. There you go, 2 more. And this is, I need to go eat some lunch. Yeah, we'll just go through this last one. It's one of my ones that we streamed on. I need to find those other 2. I feel super inspired today. I definitely feel like doing some looking at, and I said this, I keep saying this every day. I know. I repeat myself. Welcome to Journal Artista. I feel very inspired today. Looking at my own work inspires me. Reminds me of techniques I used to love, or paper or products I have. Anyways, this is so you can see I then moved on. I have a lot of Canson Mixed Media journals. I kind of go back and forth between Canson Mixed Media and composition books. But this one has some paper on it. So this was from Burlington when we streamed upstairs. Ladylike at all times. Remember, you gotta be ladylike, my friends. I don't know why. Ew, who remembers this? August 13th. Who knows what August 13th, 2011 is? Or August 13th, any year. Man, do I remember this. It was World Lefty Day or something. So I did this entire page with my left hand. I stamped, I painted, sprayed. But even look at how much weight I lost, that my hand is thinner. That was a fun one. I liked how these splots made it look like two guys in the middle of the page there. That's why I wrote the title, You Need Each Other. I remember doing this live. And Eileen being in chat. Isn't that weird? Like I don't know, it's weird the things that I can remember. Our first walk. So that must have been when I got Asha. Because I would have been talking about Asha. August 15th, 2011. That sounds about right when I got Asha. There's my 33rd birthday live stream that we did. Ooh, that's a muddy mess on this one. Turning 33 is wonderful. I love the double digits, the double numbers. Time has flown by. So I guess I like the 33. This inspires you, my friends. My circle phases with this, I still like it. This is the type of thing that I would do right now, right? Even though this was back in 2011. I remember that page. I remember streaming this page live too. The Tim Holtz with those dies. It was, I remember, you're going to see it. I remember, because I wanted to say that stream, I named it like finishing pages or something. Because I can remember Eileen, we did about 3 pages. The one with the frog, you're going to see later. And I remember Eileen saying she didn't like frog. I'm always doing that which I cannot do in order that I may learn how to do it. My ode to Joyce. Pick a color, Joyce. That day, this particular stream, she told me which colors to use. My ode to Joyce. Ode to Joy. Now I'm singing in my head. Hot mess. Evidence of Beauty. I love these stamps. These are from Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Little collage there. This is when I first started teaching about clear gesso. Clear gesso. So back in 2011 is when I first started using clear gesso and loving it. Back to more song lyrics. Just Living My Life by T.I. Ooh, I remember this page too. Oh, I love that. I loved how the background turned out. And it's amazing to me sometimes looking at this, like the backgrounds. It's interesting how some backgrounds stood the test of time and other ones, I guess it depends on whether the sprays I was using are permanent or not. Hi, Glen Claire. Well, good morning or good afternoon. Sweet goodness, it's already 2. I'm almost done. After this flip, I need to go eat something, and then I'm going to come back in my art room and do some art. Maybe find somebody to watch. I don't know. I remember doing this little collage. Never did finish this one. Stacked books. Bonding with Your Dog. Grave Minder. Must have been books I was reading at the time. Honesty is Happiness. Let go, let go. That's a hot mess. So again, I can tell right here, this is Adirondack sprays, the cranberry, I'm sure. Cranberry or something like that. And I bet you even right now, here we are. Watch this, my friends. What? Almost a decade later. And I guarantee, well, I'm just going to do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to lick my finger. Watch. I can remove that. I bet. It's still, after all these years, going to release ink off of that. All these years later. So you got to be careful when you use dilutions, Tim Holtz, distressed, any spray that can be reconstituted. And I think what happens, especially with some of those sprays, I was so heavy-handed with some of those Adirondack sprays, especially after, because Laura was able to go to that Ranger sale and gifted me a whole bunch of the bigger bottles, old bottles of the Adirondack sprays. And so then I wasn't treasuring my original ones. I was able to use it. But those Adirondack sprays, my friends, they are so potent that I think, and I live in a pretty humid climate in the summer anyways. I think there's a lot of times that some of these sprays, when I have something like this where I've had Dilutions. Well, this wouldn't be it was be way well before Dilutions and Tim Holt sprays. This is when we only had Adirondacks and Glimmer Mists, those type of or well, I lied. We also had the wonderful sprays from Lindy Stamp Gang and such. This was one of the original Crafters Workshop stencils that I had. Anyway, I think that the humidity in my art room, because none of these pages were ever sealed, some of my pages look even more muddy than when I made them 10 years ago, because I think the humidity is expanded, like not expand is not the right word. I think the humidity has affected some of these sprays. If that makes any sense. Know what I mean, Vern? Oh, thank you so much, Paradox. Welcome. Ooh, I remember this. Oh man, I distinctly remember this. So this was from a stencil Saturday. This is when we first started, I was perfecting my wiping through the stencil technique back in 2010 years ago. Ooh, I remember this stream very, very well. I loved how this turned out. Crafters Workshop. Again, this is back when we didn't even have very many stencils to do these things with, right? It was either, you had a few stencils from Crafters Workshop and masks, right? This was a mask. But I did that bird cage with that crackle. I love me some crackle accents. Do they still make those things? Crackle accent. Do they sell glossy accents? I remember this. I really enjoyed this page. I remember this technique distinctly. This is when I felt I perfected it and that I really liked. And I can remember this particular page and everybody said, "What? Do you remember everybody freaking out when I put black paint all over this?" Oh man, I wish some of those old Ustream recordings. August. So I streamed this August 27th, 2011. But I distinctly remember putting black paint all over it because I'd had however many layers already over this, right? Like of all the browns and stuff. And I can remember putting black paint and everybody lost their minds. Lost their minds because I covered up all this. And I was like, don't worry, my friends, don't worry. We're going to wipe it off. And this was that page I was talking about when we were flipping through that book before. Garbage in, garbage out. I colored this in January 15th, 1997. And then I added, and then I drew a little slimy, and I never shaded him. Where's Dee Dee? She'd be proud. Maybe I should bust out a Prismacolor right now and give him some shading to make him look like a worm. I never shaded my wiggly worm. Then I did, this was Crafters Workshop stencil. All of this was, because that's all we had back then. So it was numbers because, Sesame Street, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sesame Street's different, I guess, than from when we grew up. You can put the blame on me. Akon, one of my favorite. I still love me some Akon. I remember streaming this page very well. These Tim Holtz masks. Oh, this is making me feel good, my friends. Thank you for not enjoying. I can't assume that you're enjoying. Thank you for coming along the ride with me. Oh, look at that nice little tag I made with pen nibs on it. If I do say so myself. Oh, that Paris page, I never did finish that one. Which is okay, right? I mean, sometimes you just have to... Obviously, one of my sayings, I've always said you got to work through the uglies. There's always times in a page where like, holy sweet mother of goodness, what the heck is going on here? But sometimes I'll work through the uglies and sometimes you just have to turn the page and move on. So I guess I turned the page and moved on with this one. Ooh, who remembers this? I can distinctly remember this page. This was September 11, 2011. I remember asking on Twitter for a quote. Somebody give me a quote for a prompt, and this is what we came with. I remember these leaves were actually made out of newspaper, but I don't know if you're able to see it. A person without friends is like a tree without roots. Ooh, I've always loved this one. This is one of my favorite pages, September 4th, 2011. Ooh, who remembers this? Oh, I loved how the sprayed. But me in circles, right? Cosmic oneness now. I love that. This one. I can remember Eileen doing this one. And or not Eileen doing it, but streaming this. And when I did this background, there was I can remember a discussion in the chat about whether it looked like a frog. What were we saying? And there was like, I can remember Eileen distinctly Eileen not being happy that he turned it into a frog. She saw something else. I forget what it was. September 4th, 2011. And that's why I wrote "You Decide," because it was a frog and something else. And everybody else said something else, and I made it into a frog. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Welcome. What was the other part, though? I wish I remembered. I don't even remember what. To me, it looked like a frog. Ew, that's a hot mess. So obviously you could tell there I was mentally hurting. Have heart. Spread joy no matter what's going on. No one can make me feel bad. That is not a choice. It's not. So this was May 9th, 2011. So exactly 9 years ago yesterday? 9 years ago. 9 years ago, my friends. And this is all streamed. All of this was all live. This was fine. I remember this page too. A little muddy. And it was that glimmer mist, like it. Well, that's not glimmer mist. That's definitely Lindy Stamp Gang. I still love me now. Those Lindy Stamp Gang Moon Shadow Mists, my friends, are some of my favorite things because they are walnut ink based. And walnut ink brings me back to my stamping roots. There's some, I guess back then, look, I did like some makeup. Life is just a mirror, and what you see out there, you must first see inside of you. Wally Famous Amos. Wally Famous Amos. I don't know who Famous Amos. Wally Famous Amos. Julie Faith Van Balzer stencils. So this must be just when Julie Faith Van Balzer came out with her stencils, and I bought Everty. Oh yeah, because I did this for a blog hop on hers. The Balzer Designs. I printed that out. Crafters Workshop. This is from 2011, but the yummy. This is all raised. I don't know if you can see the texture. It's looking a little muddy. Looking a little muddy. Love me some Julie Faye Van Balzer. I have been recently receiving emails again because, she has Fridays. I think she used to do always the art journal, Friday art journal. What did she call it, my friends? She had a blog post every Friday, art journaling, and I mean, such inspiration in there, that's for sure. And I've noticed that she's posting those Fridays again. Or I've been getting them in my email anyways, because I guess I was subscribed to her art journaling every day. Excuse me, that's what she called it. Fridays were art journaling every day on her blog. And I would always get the email because I guess I was signed up for the blog or something. And I don't think we got them for a long time, but I think she's doing them. I think she's back to doing it, which is awesome. I remember that page with that little. But again, this blue, right? We were using sprays that were. It looks muddy because those sprays are not permanent. Excuse me. And all these years later, because I seal my pages, it makes it even more muddy looking. I think the humidity in the air has affected it. This is when we use some embossing powder resist in paints and. Oh, this page. I carved that stamp live. This that leaf that's stamped in green. I painted that live. It's 2011. Any suggestions? Hot mess over there. Things are not always black or white. Ew, that's a muddy mess. Never finished. I forgot. I'm starting to feel stomach sick. I forgot to finish this insurance. It's about time for me to go. Oh, hot mess there. Oh, I distinctly remember this page too. Lots of golden on there. Ooh. My apologies, my friend. All of a sudden, getting a wave of nausea over here. Probably because I wasn't listening. See what I mean? This is what I was saying last night, right? My stomach was growling. I wasn't feeling hungry, but my stomach was growling, which is a sign that I should be eating. So what did I do? Ignored it, didn't freaking eat, and now what's happening? I feel stomach sick. Whew. Oh, I remember this page. The wonderful Rach 0013 gave me these little collage things, and I made a little thing. So, thank you so much, my friends. I know a lot of you have spent 4 or 5 hours with me this morning. I truly appreciate it. I got some cleaning done. Ooh, remember when we did that? Got some cleaning done. I flipped through books. I feel so inspired and wanting to pick up my art journal. So that's the goal. That's why I keep my art journals close to me. That's why I enjoy them. The inspiring myself. Ew, I remember this one too. Oh, I loved this. I remember that stamp. Did we use Pearl-Ex on this page? Ooh, my memory is going to come back. It's going to come back. Or was I using watercolor? What would I have painted some? So I have, like I said, I probably have another 20 more finished art journals to flip through out over the years after this. But I truly appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much to those who have joined the Journal Artista membership over here on the Hot Mess Art Gang. Thank you so much, my friends. Big things are coming. I truly appreciate it. I shall be back again tomorrow, sometime during the day, afternoon, probably. I don't know. We're gonna do some more cleaning. I am like today, day's number 7. 7 days of going live every day, and we're not stopping. Day 7. So thanks everyone for being here. Like I said, I enjoy streaming, whether I have 1 person watching or 100. Thank you so much for putting up with, sometimes me being a hot mess. All right. Well, thank you for being here, Janice. That's what this is all about, right? Is inspiration. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle Bell. Wonderful to see you. Thanks, guys. All right. I'll see you sometime tomorrow or sometime later today on the internets. Much love, my friends.